Hmm. My love,
Hey, Becky.
how are you?
I'm all right here at the studio in quarantine.
Oh God, I'm so jealous that you have a studio for your quarantine
Yeah, because like nobody's here, so I'm like here all by myself. I was like, yeah, I'm just
in the
gonna stay.
spaceship.
Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here and just like work and finish stuff up.
Yo, can we just have a moment for Mamacita, Mamacita?
Right? It's dope,
Hold
right?
up. I don't know. We got a little LA Mamacita over here, and I'm loving it. It is fire.
Thank you.
Absolute fire. You guys
Thank you
killed it.
so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Like a lot of people don't know, but I called up the first person I called when we were working on this project. I called up Becky G. I'm like, yo, so how does this world work? So I got my knowledge of how the movements are and like how you have
Yeah.
from my little sister Becky G. Thank you so much for that
No,
knowledge.
my God, of course. No, always. I mean, man, you've been with me since I started. You were one of the first ones to ever give me a shot. I'll never forget. It's so funny. And because I have some fans here that are Spanish speaking, I'm gonna go in and out real quick on this story. But mi gente cuando conocí a will.i.am here, mi hermano, mi familia, yo tenía 14 años. I was 14 years old. I had just gotten signed. And I remember I got a call and they're like, yo, we just set up a session. Vas a tener que ir al estudio y vas a trabajar con will.i.am. And I was like, yo, I lost it. I was like, this is crazy. You know, especially growing up on your guys' music and like everything that you've done, being super inspired by it. And I remember I go and I tell my grandma, right? I'm like, Grandma, Lita, voy a trabajar con will.i.am. And she goes, William? Can is William? I was like, Grandma, will.i.am. It's like literally the story I will never forget. And I remember showing her playing all the records, which obviously she knew. And she was like super mind blown. And like, dude, I was 14 when I met you. That's so crazy. And dude, I just turned 23. Like, the
Yeah,
almost.
and I called your aunt because I know your aunt for like a long
Mm-hmm.
time. Like, why didn't you tell me you have a super talented niece? Like I would have worked with her. Like, why is she with Dr. Luke? She should have brought her over here with us. She was like, well, I just wanted to respect your space and like I don't want to be one of those people that are like, yo, check out my niece. She's really
Well, it's
talented.
like,
Like,
it's funny because Auntie Lisa's super, you know her, she's so chill. She's
yeah,
so chill. She's so relaxed and like kick back. So like anytime we would like hang out, obviously like yeah, I was doing what I was doing, but it was just kind of normal, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm super super excited for your guys' record. When did you guys plan to get Osuna on the record? Like how did that come together?
okay, so remember we were walking through downtown. So I went downtown to see your video shoot,
Mhm.
and I was and you were telling me it was like Instagram. You hit them up on Instagram. I'm like, you hit them up on Instagram?
Yes.
I don't think you understand. For me, that information was like, wait a second. Instagram is how you like, because I've known you like your past and like how tough it was for you to like get music out.
Mhm.
So when you told me like you found the path, I was like, Instagram? And so I was like, you know what? Let me take Becky G's advice. So I hit up Ozuna on Instagram. And so like, and then we did the parade with him. And he was like, yo, I got your Instagram. Like, yo, let's work. And so then I'm like, everybody's busy. And so we were trying to like get in the studio.
Mhm.
And then Ritmo started taking off. So I could see in the beginning where people will be like, Black Eyed Peas, you guys been around for a long time,
Mhm.
like, and so J Balvin was the first one to be like, let's put it out.
Yeah.
And so from that explosion, Ozuna was like, let's get in. And so, but it took a while to like get everybody's calendar.
Yeah. Well, speaking to that, like it's so crazy now, right? You think about it, like artists, especially in the Latin world, right, where I've been very just full on like touring, like, and even you guys too with the festivals, you know, in Europe, in Latin America, it's beautiful, but it's constant. It's like a constant thing, and like there's such a demand for artists, and now more than ever. I mean, you've been around way longer than I have. And I'm sure you really see the difference of what it was then to how it is now. It's like, it's even more so of a 24/7, because it wasn't like you can just lock up, you know, it's not like you can anymore just lock up in the studio and disappear for 6 8 months to make an album. People are like, what is an album? Like, why? I just want constant music, constant videos, constant connection, whether it's watching us through IG Live, eating breakfast with us through the social media. It's just, it's a constant thing where people just need to be connected. So it's really hard when you're an artist and you're kind of spreading yourself so thin and you're only one person, you know what I mean? So when the schedules don't align, it's not because like, I don't want to. It's like, I really want to, but there's already things, you know, in effect. So I can imagine, like, I obviously have been there with the struggle, but I love that you reached out to him, because especially like us Latinos, like what we love is that artist to artist connection. Like, I think that was one difference that I had to adapt to, that I was very thankful for, was like back in my beginning days, it was like you had to go through the label. Like, you wanted to get somebody on a record, you got to go through the label, you go through their A&R. And now it's like, I'm just going to write to that person myself, and we're going to do this. And then we'll tell our A&R what's happening. And then we'll tell the label what's going to happen. You know what I mean? It's like a little bit more artist empowerment, which is really cool. It's really nice to see, for sure.
And then after I left your video shoot, when I went downtown, I immediately called App and Taboo. I'm like, yo, I just left Becky G's video shoot. She hit me with this knowledge nugget. She's like, it's about being on.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be, it's not about putting out an album. It's about being on and staying on for a period of time. And you were the first person that I heard that perspective from. Like, so I left inspired. I left like, so I just want to let you know, I may have been around for a long time, but I'm a student and I learned from that time in your trip.
Thank you. No, and I learned that from you. I literally, you know who, you and Pitt, Mr. Worldwide, you two, since the get, were always the ones that every time I would see you guys, like, you know, catching up or whatever, it would always be like, are you learning? Are you learning? But have you learned anything? Are you still learning? Because it's true. I feel like in an industry where things are constantly evolving, things are always changing, there's always a new way to do something. You know, and especially you come, I know you geek out over like tech stuff, and that world is, I mean, even more so, just so progressive, so constant. Like, what can be better? What can be upgraded? How can we do this? How do you reinvent yourself time and time and time and time again? And music is exactly like that. It's like, if what's not growing is dead, right? So if you kind of just get content in your little bubble and things are good in your little bubble and you get just too comfortable, the rest of the world is moving on. And if you're not moving with it, then you get left behind, you know?
Yeah. And then like what I get the joy from, like not the other day, but I hit you on Instagram when I saw that the last movie you're in with that robotic dog.
Axel, yeah.
Man, that movie was dope, bro.
Thank you.
That shit was so fresh.
Thank you.
And I hit you up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's my girl. That's my little sister right there. I was so proud when I saw Axel. That was dope. I'm really proud.
Man, thank you so much. No, and then when we did the All-Americans too, when you were telling me that was one of the schools that you went to, that was crazy.
So I have a school in East LA in Boyle Heights right now. So not right now because no one can go to school, but our graduating class, I have a FaceTime session with them, a Zoom session with them tomorrow. So every year I send around 60 kids to college from Boyle Heights for the past 10 years. Last year, our kids went to Brown, Dartmouth, Stanford.
Wow.
And you know, in East LA, my school, they're all Mexicano.
Yeah.
So it's been like, you know, we get them from when they're 14 until we see them till they're 18 through school, out of college. So next year will be our first year we have graduating college graduates.
Wow.
So when I saw that documentary, I mean the movie that you did, I'm like, yo, man, that's so freaking fresh. That's like I'm Mis Los Puro all the way.
Yeah, no, I know you rap really hard, and it's personal, you know. It's a beautiful thing to want to give back to your community. And actually, you know, with everything going on right now, it's really trying times. It's really trying times. I mean, especially if you're like, if you're an artist that's anything like us, who are still very connected to our roots, you know what I mean? Like I mean, I see it every day. I'm still in Inglewood. Like I haven't left. You know what I mean? My family's here. I'm quarantined here. Like we're all cooped up together, and it's still like in my everyday life is still very present, and seeing the effects that, you know, this current situation is having on our communities. It's a constant reminder of why it's so important to do that, you know. And that documentary, that film, was really, really cool to be a part of because of that, because there were so many stories to be told for, you know, brown and black communities in LA. And, you know, obviously for us growing up in it, it's kind of just what we know. But for others, they have no idea that this even exists, you know what I mean? And that
Yeah.
it's a real path for some, and that path is not very, very easy to walk. So how can we shine a light upon that? How can we help one another? You know, people see us and they're like, oh, they're good. They never look back. They never this, they never that. Some people have that perception of individuals like us in our position. And I love showing people that's not at all what it is. That's not at all what it is. You know, we love where we come from. We wouldn't be, I mean, we wouldn't flow the way we do if we didn't, you know,
Yep.
we didn't recognize, you know. So that's really dope. That's exciting. I wish nothing but the best for your graduating class, man. That's sick.
Yeah, I'm really proud of them. This year is hard for them because, you know, they're not graduating on stage.
Mm-hmm.
There's no prom for folks. There's no like traditional closure. They're going to be moving on to the next in a whole new way, right? They're going from high school, starting their first year of college without having a physical ceremony or closure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first time that's ever happened. So this class is really important, right?
Yeah.
And they would have endured so much emotional strain. And I believe in them so much that I think this class that's going on to college this year, the ones that do, they probably will excel because they have harnessed something that the other classes didn't, because they were stuck in tradition.
Yep.
And these ones have endured and you know, you know, kept it moving in tough times.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for them, happy for them, and we'll be on a call tomorrow.
That's amazing, dude. Let me know too if I can get involved. I love stuff like that. Like I'm super passionate about. I feel like education is like a super important, you know, category for me as an individual, as an artist, but just like as a person, you know. Like I feel like you can be educated in many ways on different things, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
my kids they really look up to you.
Oh, thank you.
You know, so like you know, they're from LA, you're from Inglewood, you're from LA, and you're Latina. All the girls love the hell out of you.
Oh.
And so they're like, so I'm like, who do you like? You know, they tell me the artist. They're like, Becky G. I was like, oh shit, I know Becky G. That's like, oh my gosh, you do? So, you know, when this is all over, like next semester, if you could like, you know, just, we'll make time to go down and say hello to some of my kids. That'd be awesome.
I would love nothing more. That would be amazing. Yes,
and
let's make it happen.
Yeah, and the majority of them, like I said, are they're Latinas.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so 100% Latinas in my school.
Wow.
Because
that's crazy.
Yeah, we were the only black family, so.
Yeah. Nah, it's crazy because growing up in Inglewood, obviously, like it's like I said, it's brown and black community. Really, there's nothing more, and obviously we all have, like I said, different paths. We've all had different journeys to get to where we are today. But obviously, there's still a lot of work that can be done in our communities, and I think, you know, inspiring one another is like, that's really is planting the seed, you know what I mean? It's planting the seed for the ones to come, so that they have, you know, a blueprint to be inspired by, to either go create their own or to maybe take as example. And yeah, dude, that would be so sick. I would love that. As you can see, I love talking, so I
No,
would love
shoot,
to sit down.
I'm listening to you. I'm like, Becky needs her own show.
Hey,
You should have your own show. You can like.
I would love it. I would love it. I'm so passionate about
like
this
on
stuff,
Netflix.
man. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think for me, it's like it's doing things in a way that haven't been done before, right? And I don't mean that like, oh, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here, but just in a sense of like, you know, a lot of times when we get to know artists, we get the documentary, the thing after the fact, after they've met, you know, mega superstardom and won all the hundreds of Grammys and whatever, you know what I mean? After the fact, after all that, we've never really gotten the chance to meet an artist in the midst of all the madness, in the midst of the hustle. Like, I know I still haven't broke the ceiling yet. I know I'm very aware that there's still so much more to go. And sometimes it gets a little, the idea of that even gets overwhelming, but that shows that I'm a human being. Like, if I wasn't terrified, then why am I doing it? We do it for the thrill. We got to feel that there's something to work towards, you know what I mean? And I know, like I said, I'm barely scratching the surface, and I would love, like I said, to just sit down with, you know, these I say kids, but you know, it wasn't that long ago that I was in their same shoes, you know, and that same age it was literally, it feels like yesterday. So it would be so cool to sit down with them, and instead of it coming from somebody who's so far ahead, it kind of be like, hey, you're right behind me, man, let's go, like I'm right here with you, you know. That I think that's a really special connection that a lot of people, I know for me, even growing up, like I didn't have that with many artists.
Yeah, but you know what I love about you actually is how humble you are. Like, in your head, you still haven't broke the ceiling, but the movies that you've been in, the songs that you have out, and how you're growing, like Becky G, yes, I know Becky G is about to be Becky G. and the fact that you know that you haven't even touched it yet, that's what I love about you even more. Like, you're still hungry. You still at it, and that's dope.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. All right, well, I'm gonna text you after this. You have the same number still?
Yeah, same one.
All right, cool. I'm gonna text you after this. Thank you for answering, because I would have looked real dumb if you did.
No excuse. All right.
All right, stay safe out there. My best to the family. Love you. Bye.
Bye.